Hello, everyone. I'm Jay Smooth, and I'm here with Coach Richie B. And today we are going to be talking about teenagers and the challenges they face. And this is going to be a new podcast that we are going to be doing. So let's go ahead and get right into it.
Good morning, Jay Smooth. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Okay. Yeah, we're going to be talking about the challenges that teenagers face in school, middle school, throughout the world, whatever they're going through. So, what are some of the challenges that you find that teenagers have in school?
Some of the challenges that teenagers face in school, that could go with tests, fitting in, relationships, all those kind of things.
Okay. Yeah. So, relationships. So, are exams really stressful for you when you're trying to study for exam? Is that one of the challenging things?
Yeah, it is a very challenging thing because of distractions. I think distractions can easily happen, and you just kind of get led away from wanting to do it or just doing it in general.
Okay. So I know a lot of some of the teenagers play sports and have activities. Is that pretty hard to balance with sports and your other activities with doing your homework and stuff? How challenging is that for y'all?
That is actually a very challenging factor. That's why I personally don't play sports, is because it really just kind of interrupts with those study times and times that you have to do your homework, and it just really blocks out those times.
So what you're saying is that studying and sports is really kind of hard balance because you got to focus on studying, then you have to rush home to do your sports activity, and then that takes your time from studying. So it kind of struggles trying to do both at the same time because you staying up late after you come from your activity.
Yeah.
Okay. So lunchtime. I understand that sometimes lunchtime is pretty challenging for you, for students.
Yeah, I think it's more of a fitting in factor. Is some kids don't really know where to sit, especially more shy kids. They're not real sure exactly like who to sit with or where to sit with, because it's kind of hard to find those people who are like, oh yeah, come sit with me. Like, so I do think that could also be a challenging part, is just really trying to fit into that space.
So is it really difficult during lunchtime? Is other students kind of mean to people that don't fit in, or that's make it challenging?
I don't think people are necessarily rude about it. I just think that they don't really like know them at all, and they just assume that they're not really like a cool person, so they just tend to not like them in a way. So yeah.
Okay. So with teachers, is it really hard? Do you feel that let's see, how can I put this? I'm looking at my notes here. Getting along with teachers, do you feel like y'all being labeled trouble? Do you think sometimes teachers label students as trouble if they're disrupting, or label y'all as disrupting?
Sometimes yes, especially like even yesterday, one of the teachers labeled someone as that, and I do think that sometimes it is true, and I don't know if it necessarily needs to be said, but if they are just trying to get that person that is disrupting to be quieter, then definitely.
Okay. Myth. What is a common myth that adults have about teenagers?
I think a common myth that adults have about teenagers is that all of them are bad, and like as soon as one person does something, then everyone's gonna do it, and that's not necessarily wrong, but it's also not right, because like some of us actually have the common sense to like not do that.
Okay. So friendships, is it kind of hard to, with the drama and stuff like that that goes on sometimes with teenagers? Why do you feel that the drama happens sometimes? So that we can understand, that adults can understand.
Yeah, I think drama happens because people just, I think it's more of gossiping in the drama part, but people just, maybe they get bored and they just want to talk about something, but then sometimes they also just talk about it because they just feel like it needs to be said or something. And then the drama part is more of just those type of people who are very emotional and they just kind of share that with people. And I think that's where the drama really comes in.
So during class time, when you're in your class, is it really difficult to try to study and listen to the teacher when your fellow classmates are being disruptive? How hard is that for you? Because I know that's a struggle too when you're trying to concentrate and people are being disrupted.
I know for other students that can be really hard. I'm kind of a talkative person myself, so it's not really that hard for me. I can really still try and get my, study time and all that in. But I don't really try to talk in class. But I know that there are some that, like, whenever, those kind of kids just disrupt the class, it does really affect their learning and how they go at their work.
Okay, what is what is one of your most difficult challenges that you have during school or at school or just period?
Just one of my challenges, I think that, a good way to put this.
Because I know some students have challenges, I guess, expressing themselves or they're having bad days.
Yeah, I do. Okay. Sorry. So one of my challenges is like talking out. I do forget to raise my hand quite a lot, and then I just kind of blurt it out. Or whenever like someone else is answering a question, and then I just kind of like shout it out while they like just got called on, and then that like ruins their opportunity to learn. So I do need to work on that because it really dismisses their learning.
Okay, I know students, everybody goes through problems and situations. We all struggle with emotional stuff like that. So if a student are having a bad day, and sometimes teachers don't understand that y'all do have bad days, what is your way or what could you suggest teachers understand or adults understand that you're having a bad day, and how can you express that?
I think some of it is your body language. I think you can express it with your body language, and the teacher will kind of just know that you're having a little bit of a bad day. And if you want to just really let them know, just straightforward, you could just walk up to them, tell them like before class, or you could just write a note and leave it on their desk, and they'll see that, and you will be okay.
Okay, sometimes I hear students say, if they're in trouble, if they're getting in trouble a lot, the teacher just don't like me. She don't understand. But coming from my point of view, the teacher they do like you. They do care for you. They just don't like the behavior that they're doing. So if a student feel that a teacher doesn't like them personally, how can teachers or adults, in your opinion, let students know that it's not them that they don't like, it's their behavior? How can teachers express that or say something like that?
Sorry, I'm saying a lot, guys. So the teachers, I think that they can just show them that like they do really like them, but there's those times where whenever they are being disruptive, they need to have a little bit of calm down, and the teacher needs to let them know, just like they could just say it, or they could like write a note just like before, and they can really just let them know like, hey, I really do love you guys. Just your guys' behavior isn't always the best at certain times.
Why do y'all feel like y'all get a lot of pressure from your peers and parents or teachers?
I think it's expectations, and sometimes we don't really meet those expectations, and we just get a whole bunch of pressure on us like to finish homework and all the things, and it really just kind of affects our mental health, and we just can easily have a bad day after that.
So if you could, how can I put this question in? what is the would you like to express to get people to understand teenagers better? What is what do we most misunderstand about y'all, or you think we misunderstand also? I think I probably answer a similar question, but
Yeah.
sometimes we misunderstand y'all, where y'all coming from when y'all trying to express yourself.
Yeah. So obviously every parent, every adult has been to that teenager part in life. And I do think that a lot of them forget what that's like. But some of those teachers, like you and other teachers here, they remember exactly what that's like, and they remember kind of how hard that was and the things that we go through. And it's changed a lot since then. And I think that they sometimes do know that and sometimes don't know that. And I think that is also a big problem, is parents don't always understand that we live in a totally different world. Like, they know that we live in a different world. They just
Right.
don't know that we live in like an even bigger, like, it's a huge world, and there's like, you can do almost anything you want.
True.
And and I don't think the parents really just understand the kind of pain that you can like even experience from all that.
Do you find like being on social media challenging? It's okay.
It's I don't struggle on social media. Like, I have a YouTube channel. You guys can go check it out. And this is even on my YouTube channel. And that isn't really difficult. I do think that I like struggle to talk on my YouTube channel and struggle to like just do things. But I do think that at the same time, social media is a really cool place. And you can learn a lot and do a lot as long as you're in like the right spots, because there are those bad spots that you can get in to where cyberbullying and things like that can become a problem.
So speaking of change, I remember earlier you mentioned, you said we live in a changing world. Mm-hmm. What are some of the things in the world that changes teens?
Electronics, 100%. I think our parents do change us, like, even good ways and bad ways. Like, sometimes our parents cuss, and then that like leads us to do that as well sometimes. And then, our parents teach us, good ways to do things, and then we also do those good ways. But electronics, I do think that they are really addicting, and we feel like we always have to be on them and always have to be talking to someone. And I think that really does just throw away our face-to-face contact, and really just like, we can text anyone we want anytime, and it really does destroy that making friends.
Yeah, does that really make it, with a lot of social media and you're on your phone all the time, does that kind of make it hard to study when you're trying to study on you just focus on your phone or all the time?
I do think it's mixed. Sometimes, like, whenever I'm studying, like, my phone will buzz and I'll look at it, and then if it's something I need to worry about that moment, then I'll worry about it, and if it's something I don't need to worry about, then I'll just set it down. But I do try and just like silence my phone and then just set it down so it's not a distraction at all, and then I can just get my studying done. And then some days I'm just not really feeling it, the studying, and I'm just like, I really just need to get away from school for a while. So then I'll just be on my phone for a while.
Okay, I think we're just about to wrap this up. I got one more thing, and I want your opinion on this. I always have a quote, and I try to encourage people, and I want your opinion on this, and I want you to interpret it in your own way. If someone say, failure will never overtake you if your determination to succeed is strong enough. As long as you have breath in you, that long you must persist until you succeed. So what is your take on that? My
take on what you just said?
Yeah, what I just said.
Repeat
it. It said, failure will never overtake you if your determination to succeed is strong enough.
Yeah, so I do think that if your mindset is not like ready at all to take on certain things, then that failure is definitely going to come into play. But if you do have that mindset, it's like, yes, I can do this, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to ace this quiz, then I do think that it's very easy for you to be able to ace that quiz with that kind of mindset.
That's good. Because what I also want to let you know before we go, no matter what you're going through, you can make it. I believe in you, and you must have believe in yourself. A friend of mine once told me that you need to believe in yourself and don't doubt your abilities. So whatever you want to be or whatever you want to do, don't doubt your abilities. You can do it. And it goes for anyone out there.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in to our podcast. We will catch you guys, Coach Richie B and Jay Smooth, in the next one.
Deuces.
Peace out, y'all.